capes and conundrums. I think we have some glitches in the programming, Pavel remarks as the drone opponents for lower-level events start. Well, they're either straight-up malfunctioning and thrashing around or they're breakdancing. Badly. Either way, it's bad. God damn it, and here I was trying to make them do the Macarena. The drone programmer mutters, God damn, making a program that simulates a person's sense of balance is a bitch and a half, even if 98% is just copy and paste bullshit. It's the goddamn code spackle between them that's fucking everything up, and that's if there isn't goddamn copy degradation with my copy and paste routine. We done? Pavel asks. Maybe in another hour. But your shift ends in half an hour. You can go. Your replacement will be here long before I'm ready with this. Defragging new code and running the test programs takes at least an hour and a half with this program. Can't you trim it down or something? Pavel asks, and the programmer downright slams his laptop closed. Trim it down? Oh gosh, golly gee, why didn't I think of that? Okay, I'm sorry, Wow. Do you have any other incredible insights to offer? Like turning off the gravity so you don't fall. I get it, I'm sorry. Or maybe make it so people just aren't allowed to miss when shooting a gun. Then everyone can be a sniper. I get it. Shut up or I'll show you some fucking sniper, Pavel says, and he turns to stalk out of the testing room. Oh, no you don't. You clearly don't know how goddamned hard coding is, so you're going to spend the rest of your shift with me as I code, even if it accomplishes nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Good God, man, what crawled up your cockpipe? Idiot jocks who don't know what they're talking about. The programmer snaps back as he opens up his laptop again and quickly gets back to work. Pavel's response to things is to loom annoyingly over him. It takes about 3 minutes before the programmer slams the back of his head into Pavel's stomach. Gentlemen, I am very disappointed. I understand that there are differences between soldiers and tensions between species, but I am unwilling to tolerate friendly on friendly attack, Admiral Heinele states. Now, before I hear about how the situation devolved into this, he gestures to the two scuffed-up men with visible bruises and markings. I am going to detail the disciplinary actions I'm going to take. He states, and both of them look concerned. They should be. I don't care who started it. I don't care about the circumstances. You two are both undaunted. You two are both part of the same armed force and need to work together. So from this moment onwards, you are doing all your work together. No ifs, ands, or buts. For the next 2 months, you two are paired up on all patrols, guard duty, and further duties besides. So congratulations, Sniper Zuman. You now have a spotter. Electronic warfare specialist Blake. You now have a bodyguard. You also now have Hunchman, Mr. Deadshot, and Anarchy. But sir, Blake protests. No, I will not have my men attacking each other. A friendly brawl is expected, even encouraged. But you two destroyed undaunted property in that pointless, stupid fight, and I will not have it, Admiral Heinele states, and both men wince a little. Now that we have determined your punishment, you will tell me what happened, Admiral Heinele states before pulling out a coin and flipping it. Specialist Blake, you will begin. In your own words, how did this fight start? It started because a meathead opened his fat mouth and wrote checks his ass couldn't cash, Blake mutters. Really? Admiral Heinele's tone is so dry it actually seems to be sucking the moisture out of the air. Sir, there are innumerable difficult and delicate procedures in order to properly code and program. It is not an easy thing to do. When he suggested I start trimming code, he displayed an absolutely stupefying ignorance of just how much work and review goes into coding to begin with, and downright insulted me. Blake states, it's like suggesting you get everything done by just stamping your name on things at random. Specialist Blake, do you know what the correct course of action when someone insults you as a result of their own ignorance? Sir, you ignore it. Their ignorance has already proven that the insult comes from a place of weakness. It is fundamentally proof that they don't know what they're talking about and are best ignored, and if not ignored, humored. Yes, sir. Now, Sniper Zeman, I would like your recount of events. Admiral Heinela orders. The whole shift leading up to it, or just the incident in question, sir? Both, and in that order. Well, sir, my shift was to provide protection if things went off and assist in the testing of more advanced villain drones. During it, I noticed Specialist Blake growing more frustrated as he tried many different algorithms and programs to try and get smoother and more effective movements into the drones. He tried numerous things from combat attempts to dance moves and just got more and more frustrated. I don't even fully remember the conversation in question. It was nothing but small talk, and he suddenly loses all his patience. This was directly after he told me I could leave, and then he reverses that choice and tells me I can stay. Which is when you did something. Yes, he told me to stay, so I stood obnoxiously close, and this of course provoked a reaction. Sir, I apologize for my part in this affair and provoking an already incensed man. I know you have a date with Miss Ripfang. It is on hold until this meeting is done, and attempting to simply appease me will make me hold you longer. We are dealing with this issue, and that is that, Admiral Heinela states. Yes, sir, Pavel says. Now, these actions are not acceptable, and your modified schedules will be sent to you both shortly. If I hear of any further fights between you two, there will be a day of payment docked, and you will both be in front of me again. I don't want to have to take money and privileges from my soldiers, but I will if I have to. You gentlemen are undaunted. You are not the best of the best. You are better. No matter what challenge you face, you are better. Act like it. Sir, yes, sir. Dismissed. You both are off duty for the remainder of the day, without pay. Yes, sir. Sir, I'm nowhere near finished with the program. Let it sit, Specialist. It's not a bomb in need of defusal. But, sir, no buts. You let emotion control you. You're off duty for the remainder of the day. Yes, sir. Both men are then sent from the office with a slight jerk of the Admiral's head and leave. Pavel heaves a huge sigh of annoyance and disgust before rubbing at his nose and then just leaving the area without speaking to Blake, who clenches and unclenches his fists in rage. Pavel rushes through the ship and only takes the time to grab a proper jacket before rushing out to the landing bay and leaping out. The hot and ash-tinged air of Skathak is welcome, as it makes it feel like the earlier events are an entire world away. He sucks in a deep breath and lets out a wordless bellow to both vent his frustration and warn any Sonir to clear a path. An undaunted is coming. He conjured a flat panel barrier and slams his feet into it to redirect his momentum. There's a bit too much sideways movement, so he bleeds it off with a spin and keeps going. His boot comes down on the head of a gargoyle, and he launches himself along, grabbing the corner of a building and swinging hard to keep moving. His eyes narrow as he focuses, and he's suddenly down the street and coming up on another corner to grab and swing around. More focus as he begins to descend, and he bounces off the canopy above a cafe and translates the momentum to the side to flip to the ground. Pavel, I was worried that... What happened? Ripfang asks him, and he sighs. It looks like she's been waiting for a while under the canopy, and that's on him. That's on him and his getting into a fight. Some drama with the other Undaunted. Nothing to be worried about, although my schedule is about to be shaken up. Oh, that's not good. Are you in trouble? She asks, and he winces a bit. A little. I got into a small fight with another soldier, and a few things got broken in the process. So, of course, the Admiral's response is to pair us up for the next 2 months. We're either going to kill each other or settle our issues. And what is the issue? That's the stupid part. There isn't one. He was just getting frustrated, and the small talk I was using to pass the time set him off. A stupid little mistake, but now we're both in trouble, Pavel says with a shrug. Sometimes things happen, you just disagree or say something that's the particular sensitive subject of the poor bastard and it sets them off. Of course, since you're fine, you think that them going off the handle is stupid, so you respond in your own way, which makes it worse and back and forth until you're throwing hands. It happens. The boss knows it happens, but he has to punish anyways. Oh, I see. Anyways, that's more than enough about my issues. What's going on with you? You sounded like things were pretty important when you set up this meeting today. Is something going wrong? Well, you know my family is just on vacation to Skathak, right? Dot asks, and Pavel nods. Is it coming to an end? He asks, and she nods herself this time. Yes, and, well, I just don't know how we're going to make this work at a distance. This isn't some runaway romance, and we're not trying to just force it, so, it's all right to break it off. There's no shame in that, Pavel says. Better to date around and find out you're not mixing that well than to force along a relationship that isn't working, especially at long range. Really? But I've heard so many stories about humans being so intent on making things work. I've browsed a few. Oh dear. It's because of me, isn't it? No, it's not. It's that humans are different. There's no big spark between us despite actually liking each other. That's fine. A friendship is a valuable thing, even if it's not a grand one. Oh, well, we're going home tomorrow and I was wondering how to say goodbye. We haven't really gotten anywhere, but we've been trying to make it work and I just don't know. Not what you expected? No, not at all. Not bad, I hope. No, it hasn't been bad. It's just not what I expected. She admits, and he shrugs. Well, that's not a bad thing then. I'm not really sure what else to say. I'm sorry we don't have more time to make this work, but we apparently don't. If you're not broken up about this, then I have even less reason to be. We tried, it didn't work. There's nothing wrong with that. But there should be. A big kavashin with excitement and a whirlwind romance is what's in all the movies and stories and that's because there are few stories about things just being normal and fine. It's too boring to put into video format, Pavel says. It just doesn't feel right though. I should want this more. We should be really trying harder, and I don't know. It shouldn't be hard to want someone. Let's put it to the test, Pavel says, and she gives him an odd look. Let's kiss if there's anything other than pheromones, we'll keep trying. If it's just pheromones, though, we break it off as friends, okay? Dot considers it for a few moments before nodding and then reaching over the table to pick him up by the shirt. There's a hesitation in her movements as she rises up and pulls him up to her. Then her lips met his, and the tongues meet as well, and they both just go still as things go from weird to very awkward. She sets him down gently with a sigh. The heat's there, but that's just, I want it, but it's IT I want, not me. That's fine. We're not clicking, that's okay, Pavel says, before gesturing back to the table. My friend, would you care to join me for a meal? I'd like that, she says softly.